"You've again hurt my wrist, you brute," said Lolita in a small voice as she slipped into her car seat. "I'm dreadfully sorry, my darling. My own ultraviolet darling," I said, unsuccessfully trying to catch her elbow, and I added, to change the conversation, to change the direction of fate, "Oh, God, oh, God. Vivian is quite a woman. I'm sure we saw her yesterday in that restaurant in Soda Pop." "Sometimes," said Lo, "you are quite revoltingly dumb. First, Vivian is the male author. The gal author is Claire. And second, she is 40, married, and has Negro blood." "I thought," I said, kidding her, "Quilty was an ancient flame of yours. In the days when you loved me, in sweet old Ramsdale." "What?" countered Lo, her features working. "That fat dentist? You must be confusing me with some other fast little article." And I thought to myself how those fast little articles forget everything. Everything, while we, old lovers, treasure every inch of their nymphancy. With Lo's knowledge and assent, the two post offices given to the Beardsley postmaster as forwarding addresses were P.O. Wace and P.O. Elphinstone. Next morning we visited the former and had to wait in a short but slow queue. Serene Lo studied the rogues' gallery. Handsome Brian Bryansky, alias Anthony Bryan, alias Tony Brown, eyes hazel, complexion fair, was wanted for kidnapping. A sad-eyed old gentleman's faux pas was male fraud, and as if that were not enough, he was cursed with deformed arches. Sullen Sullivan came with a caution, is believed armed, and should be considered extremely dangerous. If you want to make a movie out of my book, have one of these faces gently melt into my own while I look. And moreover, there was a smudgy snapshot of a missing girl, age 14, wearing brown shoes when last seen. Rhymes. Please notify Sheriff Buller. I forget my letters. As to Dolly's, there was her report and a very special-looking envelope. This I deliberately opened and perused its contents. I concluded I was doing the foreseen, since she did not seem to mind, and drifted toward the newsstand near the exit. Dolly Lo. Well, the play was a great success. All three hounds lay quiet, having been slightly drugged by Cutler, I suspect. And Linda knew all your lines. She was fine. She had alertness and control, but lacked somehow the responsiveness, the relaxed vitality, the charm of Mai, and the author's Diana. But there was no author to applaud us as last time, and the terrific electric storm outside interfered with our own modest offstage thunder. Oh dear, life does fly. Now that everything is over, school, play, the Roy mess, mother's confinement, our baby, alas, did not live, it all seems such a long time ago, though practically I still bear traces of the paint. We are going to New York after tomorrow, and I guess I can't manage to wriggle out of accompanying my parents to Europe. I have even worse news for you, Dolly Lo. I may not be back at Beardsley if and when you return. With one thing and another, one being you know who, the other not being who you think you know, Dad wants me to go to school in Paris for 1 year while he and Fulbright are around. As expected, poor Poet stumbled in scene 3 when arriving at the bit of French nonsense, remember? Ne manque pas de dire à ton amant Chimène, comme le lac est beau car il faut qu'il t'y mène. Lucky beau, qu'il t'y. What a tongue twister. Well, be good, Lollykins. Best love from your Poet, and best regards to the governor, your Mona. P.S. Because of one thing and another, my correspondence happens to be rigidly controlled, so better wait till I write to you from Europe. She never did, as far as I know. The letter contained an element of mysterious nastiness that I am too tired today to analyze. I found it later preserved in one of the tour books, and give it here à titre documentaire. I read it twice. I looked up from the letter and was about to... There was no Lo to behold. While I was engrossed in Mona's witchery, Lo had shrugged her shoulders and vanished. Did you happen to see, I asked of a hunchback sweeping the floor near the entrance? He had, the old lecturer. He guessed she had seen a friend and had hurried out. I hurried out too. I stopped. She had not. I hurried on. I stopped again. It had happened at last. She had gone forever. In later years, I have often wondered why she did not go forever that day. Was it the retentive quality of her new summer clothes in my locked car? Was it some unripe particle in some general plan? Was it simply because, all things considered, I might as well be used to convey her to Elphinstone, the secret terminus, anyway? I only know I was quite certain she had left me forever. The non-committal mauve mountains half encircling the town seemed to me to swarm with panting, scrambling, laughing, panting Lolitas who dissolved into their haze. A big W made of white stones on the steep talus and the far vista of Cross Street seemed the very initial of woe. The new and beautiful post office I had just emerged from stood between a dormant movie house and a conspiracy of poplars. The time was 9 a.m. mountain time. The street was Main Street. I paced its blue side, peering at the opposite one. Charming it into beauty was one of those fragile young summer mornings with flashes of glass here and there and a general air of faltering and almost fainting at the prospect of an intolerably torrid noon. Crossing over, I loafed and leafed, as it were, through one long block. Drugs, real estate, fashions, auto parts, cafe, sporting goods, real estate, furniture, appliances, Western Union, cleaners, grocer, officer, my daughter has run away in collusion with a detective in love with a blackmailer, took advantage of my utter helplessness. I peered into all the stores. I deliberated inly if I should talk to any of the sparse foot passengers. I did not. I sat for a while in the parked car. I inspected the public garden on the east side. I went back to fashions and auto parts. I told myself with a burst of furious sarcasm, un ricanement, that I was crazy to suspect her, that she would turn up in a minute.